Okay, this particular clip is Chris Christie, who I absolutely cannot stand. This guy needs to be skewered. And he's a hot air New Jersey politician that all he wants to do is kill people, basically support police in anything that they do, monitor all of our communications. I wouldn't be surprised if he wouldn't want to wiretap the whole country, etc. So I'm going to play 4 clips that'll give you a flavor for Mr. Christie.
Right back to the questions. Chris.
Thank you. Governor Christie, you have compared both Senators Cruz and Rubio to Barack Obama, saying that we cannot afford another inexperienced president. You've also said that Senator Cruz's vote to curtail the NSA surveillance program made America less safe. Is either of them ready to be commander-in-chief?
Well, let me tell you something. I do believe that the vote on NSA made the country less safe. But let me tell you what the country should really be worried about. I watched that town hall meeting with the Democrats the other night, and I heard Hillary Clinton ask a direct question by an Iowan, and that's what Iowans like to do. They like to ask direct questions. And they asked about her email situation. And here's what she said to the American people. She did it for convenience. For her convenience. She put America's secrets at risk for her convenience. She put American intelligence officers at risk for her convenience. She put American strategy at risk for her convenience. Let me tell you who's not qualified to be President of the United States, Chris. Hillary Rodham Clinton did that to our country. She is not qualified to be President of the United States.
He loves bashing Hillary Clinton. He's not answering the question that Chris Wallace asked him. He jumped immediately to the Clinton bashing. And let's get the rest of it out of the way.
The fact is, what we need is someone on that stage who has been tested, who has been through it, who has made decisions, who has sit in a chair of consequence, and who can prosecute the case against Hillary Clinton on that stage. That is exactly what I am ready to do.
Yeah, tested my ass. He was in New Jersey. The Twin Towers went down in New York, and he always wants to claim credit for it. At that time, he wasn't even sworn in as the Attorney General for the state of New Jersey, but he constantly wants to claim that. Anyway, let's go to the next clip. Here's a little bit more Christie flavor for you.
Let's talk about profiling. In December, profiling. In December, 2 radical Muslims killed 14 people in San Bernardino, California. Neighbors of the terrorists said that they did not report the couple to law enforcement prior to the crime because they were afraid that they would be accused of profiling. Now, you have said that we should not profile. How do you square that with the San Bernardino case?
Well, because you can do it without profiling, Megan. You can do it on the facts. What those folks knew was that these folks had weapons. They knew that they were talking about trying to take our country and attack it. That's not profiling, that's law enforcement. And that's the difference between somebody who knows how to do this and somebody who's never done it before.
They didn't know they were going to attack the country.
They knew they were talking about the issues of attacking people, Megan. They knew that.
No, that's not true. The neighbors said they saw men going in and out of the garage. They saw packages being delivered. They saw Muslims. And they did not think that was enough to call the cops. Do you?
Yeah.
I love it. She busted him. Now watch him dance around it because she actually had the facts and he was throwing bullshit out there like he normally does.
Well, listen, I think that what people should do is use their common sense. And the fact is, let law enforcement make those decisions. I've told people that from the time I was U.S. Attorney 13 years ago. It's not for them to make those decisions about whether or not something is legal or illegal or profiling or not. You see something that's suspicious, you call law enforcement and let law enforcement make those decisions. That's what should be done. That can be done. It can be done without profiling people. What that is just common sense. They thought something was wrong. And here's the problem in this country right now. The problem is that Barack Obama has made law enforcement the enemy. Hillary Clinton has made law enforcement the enemy. We're not supporting our law enforcement officers. It's making everybody nervous to get out of their cars. If you're a law enforcement officer, it's making people in neighborhoods nervous to go to law enforcement. As president, I will support law enforcement, and we will stop radical terrorist attacks in this country by supporting our intelligence community and our law enforcement community.
Now, he's full of shit because he's basically saying that anytime you see people I don't care, Muslims or black people, Hispanic people, or whatever. If you're a white person and you see people other than your own nationality, I guess, going in and out of a garage, that you should be suspicious and call the cops. That makes absolutely no flipping sense. Zero. But see, he's a big police apologist anyway, so I would expect nothing less of him. But he's trying to project this big bad image, and he's full of crap. All right, so anyway, let's jump to the next clip. All right, this is a section that has to do with federal spending, and Chris Christie, who is gonna embellish through his teeth because this past budget that was passed, New Jersey basically was running a deficit of approximately $2 billion, and he cut some sweetheart deals with some oil companies where the state was suing the oil companies for the cost of cleaning up land that the oil companies had been on, and the state was getting ready, and I do mean getting ready, and the judge had signaled it, that he was going to rule on an $8 billion judgment against the oil company that would have been given to the state of New Jersey to clean up the land. Chris Christie cut a deal with the oil company and accepted $750 million in settlement with that oil company, and then he turned around and took that money, and because the money was below a certain threshold, he was able to fold it into the New Jersey budget in order to balance the budget from I believe it was 2 years ago. So anyway, here we go.
I'll ask you some questions about federal spending and the role of the federal government. Everybody always says they want to cut federal spending, and usually they start by saying they'll cut waste, fraud, and abuse, but that really doesn't ever materialize. We all know that. Governor Christie, you talk a lot about entitlement reform, and you say that that's where the federal government can get savings needed to balance the budget. But can you name even one thing that the federal government does now that it should not do at all?
Yeah. You want one?
I want one.
Yeah. How about one that I've done in New Jersey for the last 6 years, and that's get rid of Planned Parenthood funding for the United States of America.
Yeah, he wants to get rid of a program that 70+%, and it's closer to 80% of the American people like and want to continue. But you know, he's pandering to the evangelicals who believe that Planned Parenthood equals abortion, and that's not the case. 97% of Planned Parenthood has nothing to do with abortion.
Anything bigger than that?
Bigger than that? Let me tell you something. When you see thousands upon thousands upon thousands of children being murdered in the womb, I can't think of anything bigger than that.
I realize everyone on this stage opposed.
Yeah, that was definitely a pandering job for the pro-life people. So we'll skip on to the next video. Now this next clip is the one that I love the most because they bring up Bridgegate and Christie, and I swear he is going to get nailed on it because one of the people who's already pleaded guilty says he knew, and the other two people have yet to go on trial, and they are going to sing a song that is going to nail his fat ass.
Governor Christie, two of your former top aides go on trial in May for fraud and conspiracy in the Bridgegate case, the politically motivated closure of lanes to the George Washington Bridge. Another former aide who has already pleaded guilty and will likely testify for the government, as you know, says that you knew about this whole deal. Can the GOP take the chance of nominating you with this scandal still out there, sir?
Sure, because there's been 3 different investigations and proven that I knew nothing. And the fact is that what I did do from the beginning, Chris, as soon as I found out about it, I fired the people who were responsible. And that's what you expect from a leader. And I'll tell you something else. I inherited a state in New Jersey that was downtrodden and beaten by liberal democratic policies, high taxation, high regulation. And this year in 2015, New Jersey has had the best year of job growth that our state has ever had in the last 15 years. That's because we put conservative policies in place. And I'll tell you one other thing. You know why the Republican Party will want to take a chance on me? Because they know that Hillary Clinton will never be prosecuted by this Justice Department, and they're going to want to put a former federal prosecutor on the stage to prosecute her next September. And there is no one on this stage better prepared to prosecute the case against Hillary Clinton than I am. I will be ready. I will take her on. And when I take her on, I guarantee you one thing. She will never get within 10 miles of the White House. The days for the Clintons in public housing are over.
He's so full of shit because... Oh my God. Okay, when that trial starts, those two people that are on trial in New Jersey, they are going to sing. And when they sing and they confirm what Rothstein said that Christie knew about it, his ass is in trouble. Now, as far as how great New Jersey's doing, he's full of shit. New Jersey has a $2 billion budget deficit, and they had to go out to the bond market in order to finance that deficit. Okay? Now, as far as his Clinton bashing, the president does not prosecute anybody. It's the Attorney General that prosecutes. And the Attorney General is basically supposed to have a firewall and not be influenced by the president in any type of prosecution. It is up to the Attorney General to decide if they want to prosecute or not. Now, granted, when he picks his cabinet, you know, he may have an undercover deal with the Attorney General to go in there and prosecute, but it will not be him prosecuting. This guy, absolutely, in my opinion, is the worst. I can't tell which of the three guys, well, actually four if you include Trump, it would be worse for the country. This prick, Trump, Trump hates everybody other than, I guess, white guys. Rubio, I don't understand him, and Cruz is, Cruz is ridiculous as well. So anyway, I'm going to end this video here, and then we're going to jump to John Kasich.